Are you ready? The Cornelia Stephanie Show. Wake up to love, your call to action. Join Cornelia as she empowers others to live heaven on earth. Cornelia teaches listeners how to be the authority over yourself, embracing your inner guru. Feel yourself uplifted into limitless expansion, integrating ease and grace in a changing world. This show will cover topics such as unconditional love, your physical body, how to be in extraordinary relationships, create financial and emotional wealth, embracing entrepreneurship in the new earth. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Kornelia Stephanie Show. I am with my beautiful cohort, Nadine Searle. Welcome to the show, Nadine. Can you hear me?
Today, lovely to see you.
Yes.
Yes, I can. Yes,
Good.
Can you hear me?
Awesome to have you here. So we're here to talk about self-realization and the inner child, part 9. Can you believe
I
it?
know, 9. Gosh, haven't we talked a lot?
We've talked a lot and we've expanded on the
Mm,
realization of the self-realization of the inner child, of how when we are ready to heal those core woundings of where we were in the mother womb,
mm,
in the womb of the mother,
yeah.
and what your mother was feeling during the time of giving birth to you, and how that impacted your life. And
Mm,
then now we're healing all of those wounds, and all of that, we're releasing all of those negative imprints and those negative feelings, and that trauma of maybe not feeling good enough, not feeling worthy, feeling abandonment, feeling betrayal, feeling separate from source, separate from God, feeling separate from ourself, our inner self, feeling like a victim, and rewriting the story. And that's what we're here doing with
mm,
this beautiful conversation. And very soon we will have 11 episodes, and then we're going to be creating some kind of live event to invite all of you into
yeah.
the discussion, because we're going to support you even further in that.
Mm,
And I'm really excited about that.
yeah. There's a lot of interest, isn't there? There's a lot of people asking questions about, how do we do this for ourselves and everything. I think we've opened up quite a lot of discussion, haven't we? And it is something we can all do, but it's really good to be supported, isn't it, when you're doing this? I know I was, and I'm sure you were, and that's what we do now for other people, isn't it? So it's good to have the support.
And honestly, I can't even tell you, like right now, how important this work is. Because
Mm,
I find, as you and I were dialoguing yesterday about uh, people in our surroundings, certain people in our surroundings, how a lot of people right now are feeling just the extreme overwhelm of all the
mm,
changes that are going on in the
yeah.
world, with people being sick, with people dying, with job losses, with all kinds of changes,
Mm,
everybody's facing. That
yeah.
the number one important thing that you can do is to have a really strong support system, to have, maybe your coach, your friend,
Mm,
people that you can rely on to feel supported by at this time in our evolution.
yeah. Exactly. And there's such a, there's a lot of groups and things we can join. There's a lots of people we can chat to. There's a lot out there for us, isn't there? And I think that's wonderful because, like you say, there is a need, but if we look, we can find the right groups, the right people to support us, the right places to join in with, and we can get what we need, can't we? So it's
Well,
really good.
it comes, you said just the word. You said, and we can get what we need.
Yeah.
So the whole point is to, when possibly when we were in the mother womb, in the in feeling all the different feelings that your mother was feeling at the time. And then when you were growing up, maybe you didn't get your needs met.
Yeah.
Maybe if you were like me, you emotionally did not get your needs met. And then we we grow up and we become responsible adults, to where now we learn how to communicate what our needs are. First, we have to be able to identify what they are, like
Yeah.
being able to, tap in to that inner question, that inner self, that where you question yourself, is what do you need right now?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. What do I say it that way? I say, what do I need? What does little Nadine need? That's, as you know, that's my tuning in, isn't it? To go, what do I need? And it wasn't easy to start with, to actually look. Well, there's so many people I talk to, and if I ask them, what do you want? What do you need? They can't answer. So it's something, again, we can have the support, and we can learn how to really tune into that and start to recognize our needs, and then we start to get them met. But it's recognizing them first, isn't it, that people do struggle with, I think.
Yeah, and I think, like I wrote this on my newsletter this week, where I'm inviting you, the person that's listening to this, to ask yourself these inner questions right now. I mean, this is the perfect time to do that. And that is, do you consciously check in with yourself in how
Mm,
you're feeling?
yeah,
So, asking yourself that question, do you consciously do that? And then, do you allow yourself the time and the space to ask these inner questions of yourself? Or are you so busy that you're running around, and feeling overwhelmed by all the things, but what you really need is that space and that time to connect with your inner self, so
yeah,
that you can identify what
mm,
your needs are. What is it that you really need right now? The self-realized being,
yeah,
the self-realized inner being that is asking those questions. What is it that you really need? What is it that you really want? And then, finding out, is, are your needs being met? Because if your needs are not being met, then you're walking around emitting that frequency,
yeah,
and right,
yeah,
and actually having that expectation that people aren't listening to you. People
mm,
aren't listening to you, you're not
mm,
getting your needs met. You might even have the feeling that, because I also asked this question, do you feel that life supports you? Do you feel that you are supported in your life, and that the universe has your back, that source has your back, that God has your back, whatever your spiritual understanding of God is? Uh, do you feel that? And if you answer back by saying, I don't feel supported, if you answer that back when asking that question, then there's a disconnect. And that disconnect is there so that you can release those feelings of not feeling supported, not feeling loved, not having your needs met. And then you can heal that, release those feelings, and then come back to, okay, once those feelings are released. But there's a
mm,
process to it, right? Because you have
yeah,
to be able to voice this out and talk it out,
mm, yeah,
whether
yeah,
doing journaling, or you find a person that is, a good listener. And
yeah,
sometimes, it's not a person that has to. I did a podcast yesterday with Trish and Diane,
mm,
on the Shift podcast, and we
yeah,
talked about this particular thing because it's up right now, big
mm,
time, all over the
it
place.
is, it is, yeah,
And it goes to show you how you and I are right on the pulse of
mm,
this very important topic, and that is that, you know, you you know you teach the people in your life how they treat you. You teach people
yeah,
in your life how they treat you, and also you teach them how to hold space for you. So a person, and this is something that I've done personally in my life, when I was doing this deep inner work back then, where I was teaching the person that was a masculine presence in my life, that I was showing them how to hold space for me. And basically, because the masculine energy is always the person that wants to fix something
yeah,
or feel like they have to come up with a solution,
mm,
right?
mm, Yeah.
And so basically it was, I made the statement, listen, you don't have to fix anything here that I'm about to share with you, because I'm about to share with you. I am enraged right now.
Mm.
I'm totally in my fire right now. You're here present with me. And so could you hold the space for me while I go through this rant and let everything out? You don't have to solve my problems. You don't have to fix it. You don't have to do anything. Just listen to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was such a powerful gift that I gave to the person that was my witness. And, they were totally let off the hook because they didn't have to give anything other
Yeah.
than be present.
Mm. Perfect. Perfect. And that just shows how in tune you are with your needs and what you want, because you can actually step back for a moment and actually say, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I need you to do or not to do. And then do what you need, get your needs. So you've done that perfectly. But I do find for a lot of people, myself included, it's quite hard to get to that point, isn't it? To actually be ready. I mean, I'm quite good at venting. I'm quite good at ranting, letting my rage out. But I've had to learn how to actually, before I do that, make sure that who's present with me actually has got, well, knows what to do. Like you've just explained, you actually set it up so that you prepare that, because everybody that I know that cares about me, and I'm sure it's the same with everyone, they just want to make things better. So if I'm hurting, if I'm raging, if I'm upset, then all they want to do is make that better, and they will do that any way that they know how. But that isn't always what I need. It isn't, when it's the classic, isn't it? When you cry, how many people say, "Oh, don't cry." That
Oh,
isn't what we need, is it? Actually, I want someone to say, "Cry more, cry more." So it's the classic,
you
isn't
were
it? And we need to train people, don't we? We need to
we,
do that.
yeah, we need to teach
Yeah.
people how to
Mm.
hold space for us, how to love us, how to get our
Yeah.
needs met. Because this is
Yeah.
what I'm talking about here.
Mm.
Is, are you getting your needs met? And here's the thing, I've noticed this also, Nadine, and that is that just in the last few days, even the people that are close to me, they don't know how to ask for help.
No, you're right. Yeah.
Okay. They don't know how to ask for help. Basically, they have all the tools, they have all the resources, they have everything around them, they have access to the people, but they don't feel like they can ask for help.
Yeah.
And ask for what it is that they need. So I think this is the what I would love for our audience to do is I would love for you to take out a piece of paper and a pen and uh, write down who it is that you can actually go to that will listen to you.
Mm.
Who is a person that you trust and that you can be safe with and that will listen to you. There is that. And write down a few names, because what you're doing is you're building your inner circle and you're putting those resources front and center, that when you are overwhelmed or when you are at a place where you need somebody to listen to, that you can make that phone call, not because you need that person, but because it's a resource for you and because you know how to get your needs met. And sometimes we just need somebody to listen to us.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I would like the audience to do that. The second thing I would like the audience to do is ask yourself this question. Are you good, or are you in the knowing of how to ask for help? Are you good at it? Are you in the knowing how to ask for help, or are you not good at it? And make that distinction right now so that you can see it yourself. We're talking about self-realization and the inner child.
Yeah.
It's the self-realized being that, oh, I realize I'm not good at this. And I realize this is, and where does that stem from? It stems from us being, you know, because we can, and we've taken on all the burdens and we've done all the things because we can, that um, that's not something that we continuously have to do just because we can.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
we want to bring in more softness, and
Yeah.
this is where I come in, because I'm big. I'm a very strong, confident, empowered woman, And at the same time, I want to bring in that softness so that I can communicate that softness to you, and that I can communicate that presence to you, that it is okay to ask for what you need. And by asking for what you need, that doesn't make you weak.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
That
that's a
makes
very,
you, that makes you
yeah.
badass.
Yeah, asking for help sometimes. I think that might be the reason that a lot of people aren't very good at it, because they don't see it as something that they can be proud of. They quite often go, oh, it is a weakness to have to ask for help. And I think, what you've said there is so key. And I'd just like to add, when people are doing their list, um, it doesn't have to be people that you listen to that will listen to you. It quite often isn't. We are there for other people. We all are. But on your list, it might not be the people that you're there for that will return the favour, if you like. So look a little bit wider and just see who else there is, because sometimes there's value in talking to someone that maybe doesn't know you so well, and you can get your needs met from them. It doesn't have to be someone that you do it for. And I've learned that, I'm there for certain people, but they're not always there for me. And that is okay. That's just the way it rolls. But there's other people. There's always more. So it's looking a little bit wider when you're writing your list. So it's my little bit of advice I'd add to that.
Yeah, and that's brilliant, because it's true. It's like, because you might have the expectation that your husband, your partner, your boyfriend, your
Mm,
person that is living with you
yeah.
should be the one that's going to have that's going to be the listener, or that you're going to get your needs met from. But
Mm,
that he's most likely the person that is the triggerer, where
yeah.
there's a disconnect, and then you feel triggered. And so that's not going to be the person. But you can go to your sister, to your coach, to your friend,
Yeah.
to your group, and where you can speak, and where there is presence, and where you can be heard, where someone, and this is a key piece for the people that are listeners. And that is something that I've developed in my own life as a superpower, is that, and this is my theme for 2021, is to be a better listener. And people say
Mm,
to me, they go, wow, why did you choose that as a theme? You already listen really good. I wanted to go deeper. I
mm,
wanted to go
mm,
deeper. And now it has become even, a deeper strength, power, superpower,
mm.
because when I'm with people now on a sensory level, I can tune in and sense what it is that they need before they even realize what they need.
Yeah, yeah, that's the intuition, isn't it, coming in? Because it is that, it's not just the hearing, it's not just listening with your ears, it's listening with your heart and soul, isn't it? It's actually really tuning in. And it is a skill to be developed and further developed. So it's lovely that you've set yourself that task for this year. And I totally agree. You are a brilliant listener, but we can always go a bit deeper, can't we? And add a bit more to it. So I love that.
Yeah, and I always say this, Nadine, is that this is the work that I've done to fall deeply in love with the person who I am.
Yeah.
The self-love, has been a deep, deep practice of mine, and I have learned in my life that I've gone from the place of self-hate and suicide and drug abuse and sexual abuse to a place of adoration and love and
Mm,
honoring for myself. And I demand that in all of my relationships with the people that I relate with, that those are the boundaries, that this being here is going to be honored and respected, not because I'm standing there with my hands on my hips, demanding it, but energetically. It is the space, because that's what I live and practice in my life. Uh, this self realized, enlightened, awakened being that knows who I am. And by me giving this to myself, because I say that a person cannot give you something that they haven't first given themselves. And I've
yeah.
learned that.
Yeah. So true. It's so true, isn't it? We can demand all we like of someone else to give us what we need, but we give it to ourselves first. And in that way, we're leading by example, aren't we? We're actually showing people, well, you're doing it. This is how I love me. So this is how I want you to love me. Right? It's easy, isn't it? It's easy.
It's easy. It's
Yeah.
modeling. It's way
It's
showing.
not, yes,
You've heard
exactly.
me say that before.
Exactly. I love that. I mean, I say it's easy. When we get there, it's easy, but it's easy for other people once you can lead the way, like you say, when you're a way shower. Then you make your relationships, you make the world around you a lot easier for everyone else. So you are, like you said at the beginning, giving that gift to other people to make it easier for them to give you what you need. So that's the joy, isn't it? And that's the gift.
That is. And, right now there's so much trauma all
Mm,
around us with death and decay and just all kinds of people being sick and so many challenges that is all around that. Having your inner center, your inner love, feeling loved and nurtured by yourself, and then you've got your inner circle, the people that you go to, that listen to you
mhm.
and that support you and that honor you in your awakening, in your evolution, in your remembering, in your coming home and loving that inner child, that self-realized being. That is what this work has been all about, and that's what this life is about. That's why you
Yeah.
came. And a lot of us, like I said, I'm always amazed. You and I were talking about this before we went live today, is just the growth that has taken place just even in the last weeks where I've been, and
Mm.
what I've been through just in the last weeks, and where I am right now. I'm looking back and I'm going, wow, brilliant.
Wow. Exactly. You've been doing amazing, wonderful things, haven't you? And again, you've looked at yourself and what you need, and you've given yourself what you need, your rest and recuperating and time to actually focus. And that's the balance, isn't it? You're capable of being amazing and doing amazing things for other people, but you have to get that balance with making sure that your needs are met as well.
Yeah.
And then you can go on to carry on. Otherwise you just burn out, don't you? You can't do it all. So it's perfect that you've been doing that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
this is the part that I really feel like that's the specialty, and I think we all need to get to that self-mastery, to get into that space where we know how to communicate with our shadow self, we know
Mm,
how to communicate with our divine self, we know how to communicate because it starts there, and then when we're relating with other people, that we know how to communicate what our needs are, what our boundaries are, what it is that we need, and what it is that we stand for, and then we stand
yeah.
strong in that. And it's all created from the inner circle. It's all
Mm,
created from the inner life, from the inner circle, and
definitely.
that's where it all begins. So it's hard to believe that it's been 22 minutes.
I know. I just noticed
You
that
have some
actually.
questions that you
Yes, I have actually. As you know, I talk to lots of people about this. Lots of people come up and ask me questions because they've listened to what we're talking about. And it does go on quite nicely from what we've been talking about, actually. I've been asked about, we've talked a bit about, you know, meeting our own needs and everything, and talking about joining in with fun and play and having our joy and our bliss, those needs met. So that goes from obviously rest and being heard to actually taking it a step further, if you like, and actually going, right, I want to just be, I want to have fun, I want to play. Now, for myself, actually,
Mhm.
I was asked, like, how does this play out for you? And when I was a child, I know that when I'm looking back, I just wanted to be an adult. I wanted to have responsibilities. I wasn't really interested in playing that much. I was trying to be something I wasn't. So I wasn't really doing it much. You know, a lot of people say go back to childhood, that's what you do. And then as an adult, I was very much, I turned into a people pleaser. So again, I wasn't looking at my needs. I wasn't looking at, so I actually found it quite hard when my inner being was going, play, just have fun, just relax, chill, you know, that kind of thing. I found that quite hard. So that's something that I've had to learn. And for me, it was actually that I needed to let go of the guilt that surrounded that. Actually just going, I just want to concentrate on me and do something just for me, that me time, you know, that kind of thing. So it's something that I do with a lot of my clients now, actually recognizing where the guilt comes in and letting it go, like you were talking earlier about releasing. It's very powerful, isn't it? So, I mean, how does that work for you, Cornelia? We talked about rest, talked about getting your needs met. How do you find your fun and your joy and your bliss? How does it work for you?
Well, a couple things I'm going to answer that question, but first, go back to, I think it's episode 7 or episode 8, when we
Yeah,
talked about guilt, and that in this universe, we don't
we're
do
not
guilt.
doing that. We don't do that word. Yes, exactly.
We don't, I have to remind it, no, we don't do that.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's not something that we choose to feel, because guilt is a useless feeling and program that doesn't serve the physical body and doesn't keep your immune system high, because
Yeah.
if you're in guilt, you're probably in the lowest vibration you can be,
Mm.
aside
Mm.
from shame. So the way that I love to have fun is, if I'm feeling grief, or if I'm feeling trauma, or if I feel like I'm not getting my needs met, first thing I have to do is get my needs met and get to feeling good. Then, I'm not going to just right away, if I'm feeling like this, I'm not going to right away go and jump into fun, because that's not how it works. First, I
Mm.
have to,
Mm.
because they call that, spiritual bypassing or gaslighting or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's not how it works. So for me, I will dive into the grief, I'll dive into the pain, I'll dive into whatever is here, so I can clear that energy, get some rest, get to feeling good, and get my energy back up. And then I'm going to reach out, either where I'm going to go in nature and have a great hike, or do a dance, or I'm going to sing a song, or I'm going to reach out to the people that are in my sphere of influence, and I'm going to tell them how much I love them, and I'm going to express my love to them, which that to me is
Mm.
always a play. That's to me always makes me feel good. It's playful, because think about
Mm.
it. If I can be in my fun and have and giggle and have fun and in my joy, I'm going to be expressing uh, how significant you are in my life. And I think
Mm.
you and I,
Mm.
we have that, because I do that
Yeah.
with you. It's
Yeah.
again modeling, because I tell you and I appreciate you and I show you that I love you.
Mm.
To me, that is fun.
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree. It opens it up, doesn't it? It's freeing, isn't it? And I think I really agree with you. And I think maybe people wouldn't see fun as maybe that simple in a way. You know, it's like you have to do an activity to have fun. You have to be doing something. But actually, it's a feeling, isn't it? It's a state of mind. It's being in your joy, being in your bliss, whatever that happens to be. So it is. So yeah, you've just explained that beautifully, and I love that. So hopefully people will get that. You know, but you do need to, as you said, you need to get your rest first. You need to get your needs met, and then, if anything, the joy and the bliss comes quite easily, doesn't it? So that it sort of comes naturally. So yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
and that's the thing. Like right now, I've been restoring, I've been healing, I've been clearing, and I've been resting, and like now I can feel that I want to reach out, I want to express, I want to connect, I want to play, I want to sing some of my favorite songs, I want to go, do goofy things, have fun, do these kinds of things, because that's definitely a part of being a self-realized, being an awake
mm,
person that
mm,
knows that that is also a big piece for our raising our immune system,
yeah,
having fun, and
yeah.
raising our vibration. But
So
we have just a couple minutes.
yes, we've got a couple of minutes, haven't we, before we finish? Doesn't it go so quickly when we're having fun?
Yeah. So Nadine, where can people find you quickly?
Yes, look at my Calmer Self YouTube channel. Everything's on there. All of these talks that me and Cornelia have had are on there. So look back at the old ones. Put some comments on. Share it with your loved ones, because there's valuable information here. And how can everybody find you, Cornelia? What's the best place to look for you?
Well, first, I want to invite the ladies that are ready to join us in the spiritual meetup group for women. They can
Yes,
come and join
yeah,
us. You're part of that group.
I
And
am. It's wonderful. It's so beautiful. Yeah,
so we
beautiful
meet
place to
we
be.
meet once a month on Saturdays, and that's the second Saturday of every month at 9 a.m. Pacific time. And the call usually lasts anywhere between an hour and a half to 2 hours, so you can join
Mm,
us there. You can private message me on Facebook, or email me at radio@corneliastephanie.com, and and I'll send you a link where you can join us. It's free. It's a safe place for you to get your needs met, safe
yes.
space for you to be heard, and for you to be held
Mm,
with other women that are absolutely loving on you like crazy,
mm.
building strong relationships with women around the world. And it's just a wonderful place to be. So thank you, everybody, for listening and tuning in.
Thank you.
Nadine, as
Thank
always,
you. Thank you. Loved it. Thank you so much, Cornelia.
yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. See you next time. Ciao.